everybody, welcome back to First Business. My name is Alexandra Kilworth and welcome back to another video. Last time you guys checked in, I have my new ferret Squeak. He is settling in alright. Still got some rough play going on, and still having to split him up a little bit. They're still sleeping in separate cages, but I'm going to be doing a video detailing rough play and play fighting, and when it's serious, when it's not, and hopefully give other new parents a bit of a awareness, a bit of a head start, because I know I didn't have all the knowledge when I started, and I'm still learning. So yeah, that'll be a video I'll be up soon. But this video is one that I've been sort of brainstorming for a little while, and basis of it's about Balthazar. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, he was my second ferret. He was only a couple years old, and he passed away suddenly in December last year from suspected juvenile lymphoma, or possibly adrenal disease. Is still uncertain. So yeah, and that was hard. Although I knew it was coming, it was still very hard. As I say, knew it was coming, as in like once he got ill and the symptoms started to get worse, I knew that he wasn't going to last long, but he held out for a long time. So yeah, this video is not going to be a very positive one. Oh, I say positive. It is going to be about grieving, in case you can tell by the title. Anyone who's ever had animals will know that they pass, sometimes a lot sooner than expected. Before Balthazar, I had two hedgehogs. Herbie was the one I adopted after Harley, and he was only a couple years old, and he passed away very suddenly. I came home from work and I found him dead in his vivarium. To this day, I have no idea what happened. I don't know what his cause of death was, and unfortunately I couldn't afford to get checked out, so that was hard. And after him, Harley, my first hedgehog, African baby hedgehog, passed away. If you're curious to know more about Harley, I did do a video at the beginning of my channel introducing him, because he was still around at that point. He also passed away very suddenly. I checked on him as usual in the morning, or in the evening, in his vivarium, and he was limping, he was cold, he wasn't moving or drinking. He was just clearly in so much pain, and I did what I could. I mushed up his bugs and food, and syringe fed him water and food and everything. But whatever happened, it was just not enough, and he passed away in my arms that night. So, and before those two, back when I was still a teenager, I had two gerbils who passed away of old age. I mean, if you know gerbils, you know they don't normally live longer than 3 or 4. Both gerbils lived for 6 years. Almost 7. Hang on. Yeah. Do not stash the salmon oil. So my point is that, I've had pets since I was about 14, 15, and although, I haven't had them my entire life, I've had my fair share of grief and loss, both, just due to old age and very suddenly and due to illness, and it's never easy. After my gerbils went, I knew that if I was going to get more pets, I knew what was coming, I knew the risks, and when you get attached to these little animals, things happen, and it's not always going to be a dying old peacefully in their sleep sort of situation. But the purpose of this video is to talk about the ways that I have grieved, and how I feel have the ways that I've grieved, and if they've helped, or if they made it worse, or and also other coping mechanisms or situations that might help others out there, because obviously grief is not a one size fits all situation. So yeah, I'm going to start with obviously Balthazar, because he's the most recent one, and he's the one that I've been struggling over quite a bit recently, since he passed. So he passed in December, and about, I think it might be a couple of weeks. He was ill for about a month, and a couple of weeks before he passed, we actually attended a Christmas Chaos ferret show, and I had entered him previously. Can't remember what I entered him from. I think it might have been for a rescue. Hey Squeak. In the rescue category. And at this point he had freshly shaven tummy and legs because he has all of his scans and whatnot, and he was very skinny, and you know, he was just not his best look, but he still went ahead and won a judge's favourite, because even when he was looking awful, I'm sorry, like, he was always a very chunky boy, and in the last month of his life he lost a lot of weight and he was unrecognisable except for his little face. He had the most cutest little charming baby face, and you know, he wowed everyone over with that. So yeah, so he got judge's favourites, and I've been keeping this on the door handle to a fair room because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. Which is when I remembered that when he initially passed, I found this little wooden box that I had been given as a gift, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. And I realised I knew what I wanted to do. So it's become a little bit of a memorial box for my animals. Oh my god, you're shedding on me. Sorry. So I did a very rough sort of sketching drawing, just so I remember what this is. And I decided to gather up sort of things that would remind me of my animals. So back from the very beginning, you know, the gerbils, one Christmas, I think it might be the first Christmas or maybe the second one I had them, my mum lovingly sewed together these two little Christmas stockings for them. My gerbils are called Yin and Yang, by the way. And we filled them with like sunflower seeds because that was like a treat for them, and they loved it so much. And yeah, I kept those ever since. There's another thing from the gerbils I kept, which is their little coconuts. We had those hollowed out coconuts that we love to sleep in together, and it was just so cute, and I haven't been able to get rid of it because it's just, one, I use as a little storage container, but also it was just so them, I couldn't get rid of it. So I've got these from the hogs. I've got jars of their quills. They shed quills. So this is Herbie's. Obviously I didn't have a lot because he was fully grown when I got him. And this is Harley's. He was quite a small hedgehog, so I've got more of his, and they're shorter. You can sort of get stuff like these quills put into like resin charms or bracelets or something, but I didn't really want to do that because I didn't want to risk sending them out to someone and then getting hurt. What else have I done? Again with the hogs and Balthazar, I did ink paw prints of them. So that's Herbie. It's more of like a, actually I've got two from, yeah. It's more of a sort of, I call a bun print, because he didn't, he just sat on it and refused to do anything. But I do have Harley's gorgeous little footprints, and I didn't have his on a proper, do you mind, I'm trying to showcase things here. I have Balthazar's smudged, but still paw print on as magnetic canvas. It was on the fridge, but I'm putting it in here now because I want to do it. Guys, I'm trying to do a serious video here. And the last thing for Balthazar is this little Hogwarts Gryffindor toy. We don't sell these because of copyright issues. We don't sell anything that's copyrighted. But when I was looking into getting him, my mum made a whole sort of set of toys and bedding for him, and he was in Gryffindor. So I have this old squeaky toy here. Well loved, and yes, so it's going back in there. And that's where I come back to the Christmas show. I'm putting this in here because I don't want to get hurt, and I think it's time that I put this away. So that's my first sort of method of, not method of grieving, but you know, sort of cope mechanism is, guys, oh my god. Now, yeah, it's essentially just, you know, not, even if you, whether you decide to get another ferret or not, or another animal or not, it can be hard to figure out if you want to keep items or if you want to throw them away. And so I think this is a really good middle ground, especially like because you're not getting rid of any of their like belongings. It's like personal things, which is why I do sell things like the paw print ink pouches, because that's a beautiful way to memorialize your animal. You can put, like, you can put on the fridge, you can just like put on the wall or scrapbook or whatever, but it's a really good way to memorialize things like ferrets and cats and dogs, whatever. So memorializing things is a really good method. You can just put in a little box, and it means that if it's in a little box like this, you can put it away, and when you're ready you can come back to it and look at it and remember the good times and the bad times. But it is up to you. You can keep it out in the open and look at it frequently, or you can just tuck it away and come back to it years down the line. So yeah, that's a really good one, because like I said, when you lose an animal, it can be hard to decide if you want to get another one or decide to not have another animal for a while. And with my gerbils, when they passed, I knew that I was up for a more challenging animal, because gerbils are relatively easy. That's when I decided to get my hedgehog, and they were definitely more challenging, but obviously I was older at that point, so I knew what I was doing. Sorry, losing my voice. And yeah, like I said, after Harley, when I decided to get another one, and when both of them passed away, I did not feel up for getting another hedgehog, because the thing about competitive hedgehogs is that they deteriorate very quickly. They are small animals, they don't have much body fat or much of an immune system, so when something goes wrong, it goes wrong quickly, and that's what happened with Harley, and I presume that's what happened with Herbie, because I checked on them every day. So I knew that I didn't, although I love African hedgehogs, and I might get one in the future, I don't know, but I knew that at that point I was like, no, I'm not up for getting another one. So, but the thing is, I kept Harley's vivarium for a good 5-6 months afterwards. I kept his vivarium because I was thinking, oh, but what if? And I was like, I didn't want to let go of the memories, but eventually it was taking up a lot of space. I actually needed the money, and so it was just the best decision to sell it to this lovely father who was getting it because his daughter was getting a lizard. And again, it's hard, and it just sort of makes things feel very final, like that's it, I don't have it anymore, so I can't get another one in the future. But it's important to keep in mind that if you do feel ready in the future, you can just buy one again, obviously money permitting. It is not final. You will always have the opportunity to go back and get another vivarium or get those things again. But it's definitely not an easy decision to make, and that's why some people hold on to their animals' belongings for ages after. Luckily, I could repurpose a lot of Harley's and Herbie's stuff with the ferrets, because they're like tunnels or snuggle pouches. It's stuff that I can repurpose, so that really helped me, because there's a feeling of giving those items a second life with these things. Oh my god. Sorry for the squeaking, it's just they are play fighting, but not fighting, it's just playing rough. But yeah, so making sure those items have a second lease of life was really good for me, and that's why some people choose to sell them on to other animal owners. But again, it's not an easy decision, and if you can, there's no harm in like stashing them away somewhere. You don't have to have them out in the open if you don't feel that's beneficial for your mental health. Guys, right, okay, I'm giving Pierre time out because it's getting a bit much. Sorry about that. Right, where was I? So yeah, when it comes to your animal's belongings afterwards, there is no right or wrong way to go about it. You may choose to keep them for a while and then sell them on. You may choose to get rid of it altogether straight away. It is completely up to you. But of course the decision may be difficult regardless of what you choose and why. So yeah, the other thing that really helped me personally with going through the grief was my art. I do all sorts of art, not just my ferret stuff, but like I decided that I wanted a way to memorialize him in my business, because obviously he was a big part of it. Him and Pierre tested all my toys together. bit of inspiration and all that, so I decided I want to memorialise him that way. That's why I did the Balthazar sticker pack, which is available in my shop, link below. And there is a sale going on, by the way, quick thing. There is a big sale going on, so if you're at all interested, please check out the link below. But yeah, so I did this sale stickers where I took pictures of him throughout his life from literally the day I got him to the last month. And I drew him and made him into these stickers, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think they're cute. And it is a nice way for me to sort of... It was definitely going through those pictures, picking out which ones I wanted to recreate. Was a good way of me going back and seeing the good times, because obviously I take pictures when he's happy, when he's having fun, when he's playing, and that was a really good, nice thing to just sort of look back and be like, yes, he was in pain in this last month, but when I'm holding him here, when he's got salmon all on his belly, he looks really happy, and that, again, that was really good for me. Picking out with photos, also just the creative process of, you know, drawing it all out. Art is very therapeutic. If you don't try it, you should give it a go. Because you don't have to be good at it. Art is always going to be therapeutic. So, I think if I've done this, even like with my gerbils, I don't have it on me, but when my gerbils passed away, I had this really thick art journal. It was not even that thick, it was like that much to begin with. But because it's an art journal, I was sticking things in, well, it ended up being like that big and can barely close it. And I did a page, like an art journal page for both my gerbils. It was just a really simple, like a black page with an outline of a gerbil, and it's like goodbye yin, goodbye yang, and the date I got them and the date they died. Very simple, but again, just like, it made it feel very final, but in a way that like I was in control of. I was in control of doing that page, writing down their dates, drawing it out and saying goodbye, and that was all me. Although the world took them away, it was my choice to do this page and to get those feelings out onto paper. Again, even just the process of colouring in the page black was really therapeutic, just laying it all out there. So again, that's something I would really recommend. And you don't even have to keep it. If you do want to do a drawing and you think, oh no, this is awful, I don't like it, or it makes you feel worse, you can rip it up. And then you can try again later. There's no finality in it. You don't have to do it, and if you do and you don't like it, you can rip it up or throw it away or just put it away. You don't have to look at it ever again. I don't look at my art journal very regularly because it's very personal and I have a lot of bad memories in there, but I can choose not to look at it, or I can choose to go back and remember. It is up to you. The other thing about grieving is that some people choose to get another animal to fill the void, and that is completely okay. I think with Pierre, I just knew that I had to get another ferret because he had become used to having a friend, and he loved having someone to play with and cuddle with, and I knew that it wasn't fair on him to be on his own for too long. And I could definitely tell that when it got to the last month before I got Squeak, because he was so energetic and so hyper and trying to play with me like I'm a ferret when I can't do that. So, you know, for me it was more of a choice of thinking about him, although I knew I did want a ferret. But in those first few months after Balthazar's death, it was definitely hard to imagine because there's a lot of comparison, which is something people don't talk about. When your animal dies and you have to think about getting another one, there's a lot of feelings around it, and that feelings can include feeling like you're replacing them, which is not true because you might be buying another animal or adopting another animal, but you're not replacing the previous one. They had a mark on your life and on your heart that will never be forgotten or erased, and another animal will just add on to that. It's not going to erase it, it's not going to replace them, because no animal is the same. I think that's definitely something I struggled with Squeak, because when I got Balthazar, him and Pierre bonded instantly in the same cage overnight in like 2 nights, so there's no issues at all. And he was super cuddly and super chill, and it was just great. And obviously Squeak, although he is lovely and I love him to bits, is very different to Balthazar, and that's normal. It's very normal. Sorry. Yeah, it's very normal to have different animals because all animals have a personality. But again, it was just, unfortunately, I have that feeling of comparison, and I feel bad about it because Squeak is lovely the way he is, and I don't want him to be like Balthazar. I know what I kept saying before I got him, I hope that my next one is cuddly, but in reality I was thinking of Balthazar, and I know that I'm not going to get another Balthazar, and that's okay. It can be hard, but it's not impossible to work through, and I think just getting to know your new animal the way they are, and exploring their own unique traits. Like Squeak, his duck sounds more like a squeak, which I think is quite funny. And although he was quite shy at the beginning, when Pierre's playing with him, he will go after him. He will fight back, and that's something I find really cute because Balthazar didn't really do that. So, if you do choose to get another animal after one passes away, and you do struggle with these feelings, it's completely valid. There are groups on Facebook and on Instagram and on all social media that can support you with these feelings as well. And just accepting and embracing your new animal's quirks and personality traits is a really good way to work through it. Because if you keep thinking of them as a replacement or the heir to the animal that died, it can just make you feel worse. In reality, no, it is a separate creature, separate personality, and that's okay. Right, there's probably more I want to add, but honestly, this video has gone on for 20 minutes, which is a lot longer than my usual videos. And I have been planning on recording another one after, so I'm going to end it here. I may very well do another video in the future about grief, because there's a lot to cover, and I haven't covered all of it here. So yeah, that'll be it for now. I will be doing another update and sort of meet your ferret video soon. Got a lot of things going on at the moment, that's all. And I will see you guys in the next video. Again, don't forget, big sale on, please check out the link below. I know a lot of people are struggling financially, including myself, so any and all support would be greatly appreciated. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!